I found the diary in Grandma's attic, 3 weeks after her funeral, cleaning out her farmhouse, the place where she'd lived for 70 years. The attic was suffocating, August heat, dust everywhere. I was sorting through boxes, deciding what to keep, what to donate, what to throw away. Most of it was junk, old clothes, broken furniture, faded photographs. Then I saw the trunk, small, wooden, locked, hidden beneath the window. I almost missed it. I brought bolt cutters from the barn, cut the old lock, opened the lid. Inside, a leather-bound book, no title, just worn leather and a brass clasp. I opened it. Grandma's handwriting, immediately recognizable. January 1st, 1963. Today I made a choice that will haunt me forever. My heart stopped. I sat on the dusty attic floor, started reading. What I found in those pages changed everything I knew about my family, about our farm, about the woman I called Grandma. She wasn't who I thought. Our family wasn't what I believed. And the secret she carried for 50 years, it was explosive. The kind of secret that destroys families, the kind people kill to protect. By the time I finished reading, the sun had set. I sat in darkness, holding that diary, knowing I had a choice. Burn it, pretend I never found it, let the lie continue, or tell the truth, face the consequences, destroy my family to save it. I chose truth. This is what happened next. The diary started in 1963. Grandma was 23, newly married to Grandpa James. They were tenant farmers, renting land from the Harrison family. The Harrisons owned half the county, rich, powerful, entitled. Grandma wrote about how hard they worked, how little they earned, how Mr. Harrison raised the rent every year, made it impossible to save. They were trapped. One entry caught my attention. March 15, 1963. James found something today. In the north field. He won't tell me what, but I've never seen him look so afraid. Several blank pages followed. Then, March 20th, 1963. I know what James found. I wish I didn't. This knowledge is dangerous. The Harrisons will kill to keep this secret. My hands shook. What did Grandpa find? I kept reading. April 2nd, 1963. We met with Mr. Harrison tonight. In secret, he offered us a deal. If we stay silent about what James found, he'll sell us the land. 200 acres. For nothing. We just have to forget what we know. James wants to refuse. Says it's wrong. But I convinced him. 200 acres. Our own land. Our children's future. Yes, the deal is dirty. Yes, we'll profit from someone else's crime. But we'll be free. I made the choice. I'll carry the guilt. I read the entry 3 times, trying to understand. What crime? What did Grandpa find? What secret was worth 200 acres of prime farmland? I searched the diary for more details, found them scattered across years. Grandma never wrote it plainly, too afraid someone might find the diary. But piece by piece I assembled the truth. In 1963, Grandpa was plowing the north field. The plow hit something hard. He dug, found bones, human bones, lots of them. He kept digging, found more, at least 20 bodies, buried in mass graves. Grandma wrote, the workers, the migrant workers from 10 years ago, the ones who supposedly moved on to California, they never left. The Harrisons killed them, over some dispute about wages, buried them in our field, and we've been farming over their graves ever since. I felt sick. My grandparents knew. For 60 years they knew, and they stayed silent. Took the land, built our family fortune on murder. Grandma's entries over the years showed her guilt. Sometimes I dream about them. The workers. I see their faces. They ask me why I let them stay buried. Why I chose land over justice. James died today. His last words. Tell the truth. But I can't. Our children have children now. The farm supports 12 families. If the truth comes out, we lose everything. I'll take the secret to my grave. But she didn't. She left the diary, hidden but findable. Maybe part of her wanted the truth to come out. Maybe she couldn't tell it herself, so she left it for someone else. She left it for me. I spent days reading and rereading the diary, trying to decide what to do. The moral choice was clear. Tell authorities, recover the bodies, give them proper burial, bring justice. But the consequences were devastating. Our family would lose the farm. The land was purchased through blackmail, a crime. It would be seized. My parents lived on that farm. My sister, my brother, their kids. 12 people depended on that land for income, housing, everything. And it wasn't just us, our workers. 7 families who'd been with us for generations. They'd lose their jobs, their homes. One revelation would destroy dozens of lives. I called my brother first, Daniel. He was farming the north section, where the bodies were buried. "Daniel, I found something in Grandma's attic. We need to talk." He came over. I showed him the diary, watched his face change as he read. Shock, denial, anger. This can't be true. Grandma wouldn't lie about something like this. Why would she make it up? Why write it down? He had no answer. We sat in silence. Finally, he said, "What are you going to do?" "I have to tell someone. The police. We can't leave bodies buried in our field. These people deserve justice. Their families deserve to know. Their families are probably dead. It's been 60 years. And if you tell, we lose everything. Mom and Dad. They're 75. Where will they go? You'd really destroy our family over something that happened before we were born." My sister Rachel had a different reaction. "Burn it. Burn the diary. Pretend you never found it. What good does truth do now? You'll just hurt people." "What about the victims? Don't they matter? They've been dead for 60 years. Nothing we do will bring them back. But our family is alive now. You can destroy us today. For what? To feel righteous?" I understood her point. The utilitarian argument. More harm than good. But something in me resisted. Those people didn't just die. They were murdered, buried like trash, forgotten. Their families never knew what happened. Probably spent years wondering, hoping they'd come home. And all that time, we farmed over their graves, profited from their deaths. "What would you do if it was your child?" I asked Rachel. "If someone murdered your daughter and hid her body, wouldn't you want to know? Wouldn't you want justice? That's not fair. It's completely fair. These were people, with families, with lives. They deserved better than what they got, and we owe them truth, even if it costs us." Rachel left angry, told me I was selfish, that I cared more about strangers than my own family. Maybe she was right. I called my parents next. Dad answered, "Honey, what's wrong?" I told him everything. Long silence. Then, I always wondered. Grandma sometimes said things, when she was old, about secrets, about guilt. I thought it was just age. But this explains a lot. What do we do, Dad? The right thing. It'll cost us everything, but we do the right thing. Before going to the police, I did research. Found the story. Spring 1953. A group of migrant workers came to the county. 40 men, Mexican. They worked the Harrison farms, picking crops, working fields. Then they vanished. Local paper from June 1953. Migrant workers leave county, headed to California for harvest season. But the article was brief. No details. No interviews. No names. I searched death records. Nothing. No deaths registered for any migrant workers in 1953. I found something else. An old woman. Mrs. Garcia. She'd been asking about her father for 60 years. Posted on genealogy sites. Looking for Pedro Garcia. Last seen in Montana, 1953. Any information appreciated. I called her. She lived in Texas. 85 years old. "Mrs. Garcia, my name is Catherine. I have information about your father." She started crying immediately. "You found him? Is he alive?" "No, ma'am. I'm sorry, but I know what happened to him." I told her everything. The diary, the murders, the graves. She was silent for a long time. Then, I always knew. In my heart, Papa wouldn't have abandoned us. He promised he'd send money. He never broke a promise. We waited. Mama died waiting. She never remarried, never gave up hope. And all that time, I'm going to the police. I'll make sure your father gets a proper burial. I promise. Thank you. Thank you for not staying silent. That conversation sealed my decision, whatever it cost. These people deserved justice. I went to the county sheriff, brought the diary, told him everything. He read it, called the state police. Within hours, our farm was swarming with investigators, ground-penetrating radar, forensic teams. They cordoned off the north field, started digging, found exactly what Grandma described. Mass graves, 23 bodies, all male, all showing signs of violent death, gunshots, blunt force trauma. The news exploded. National coverage, bodies found on Montana farm, 60-year-old murder mystery solved. My family became infamous. My phone rang constantly. Reporters, true crime podcasters, distant relatives calling to scream at me. "You destroyed us! You selfish bitch! We'll lose everything because of you." My brother stopped speaking to me. Rachel called me a traitor. Even my parents, who'd supported the decision, struggled with the reality. "I knew it was right," Dad said. But actually living through it, watching everything we built disappear, that's harder than I thought. The legal process started. The farm's title was challenged. Evidence showed the land was obtained through blackmail and concealment of murder. The Harrison family was long dead, but their estate was liable, as were we, for profiting from the crime, knowingly farming over graves. Our lawyers said we'd lose the farm. It was inevitable. We'd probably face fines, maybe criminal charges. My family would be financially destroyed, and it was my fault. Some nights I wondered if Rachel was right. If I should have burned the diary, chosen family over strangers, chosen comfort over justice. But then I'd think about Mrs. Garcia, about her father who never came home, and I knew I'd made the right choice. The investigation revealed more than I'd known. The sheriff found old files, witness statements that were never followed up. A deputy in 1953 had reported migrant workers missing. Mr. Harrison had paid him off $500. The deputy changed his report, said the workers moved on to California. The cover-up went deeper than my grandparents. Half the county knew, or suspected, but the Harrisons were powerful, rich. No one dared challenge them, except one person, a local priest, Father Michael O'Brien. He'd written letters to the state, demanding investigation, insisting something was wrong. The letters were ignored. Father O'Brien died in 1955. Car accident, single vehicle crash. The investigation ruled it an accident. But reading the files, I wondered, had the Harrisons killed him too? During the excavation, they found something else, a separate grave, smaller, shallower, the body of a young man, identification in his pocket, Eduardo Garcia, Mrs. Garcia's father. He'd tried to fight back, tried to protect the others. The Harrisons killed him first, made an example. When I called Mrs. Garcia with this news, she wept. Papa was brave. He always was. He wouldn't watch his friends die without fighting. They identified other victims, using dental records, old photographs, DNA when possible. Most were never claimed. No living family. They'd come to America alone, hoping to send money home. Instead, they found graves. We organized a memorial service on the farm. All 23 victims. Proper burial. Proper respect. Mrs. Garcia came, brought her children, her grandchildren, 3 generations who'd never known their patriarch, never known what happened to him. She hugged me. Thank you for giving us closure, for caring enough to tell the truth. That made it worth it. The legal proceedings dragged on for 2 years. The state seized the farm, compensation for the victims' families. Justice delayed is justice denied, but justice eventually came. Most families received settlements, not much. Money can't replace a father, a brother, a son, but it was acknowledgement, recognition that what happened was wrong. My family lost everything, the farm, the house, the equipment, all sold at auction. Mom and Dad moved to a small apartment in town. Dad took it hard, lost weight, stopped smiling. 75 years old and starting over. Never thought I'd see this day. Daniel and Rachel blamed me. Completely. You could have kept quiet. We could have still had the farm. But you had to be the hero. Had to be righteous. Look what it got us. They stopped inviting me to family gatherings. Stopped calling. My nieces and nephews weren't allowed to see me. I became the family pariah. The one who destroyed everything. There were days I regretted it. Days I wished I'd burned the diary. Kept the secret. Maintained the lie. Days I felt the weight of my family's anger and wondered if I'd made a terrible mistake. But then I'd receive letters from victim families, from people who'd followed the story, from strangers who said, "Thank you for choosing truth over comfort. Thank you for proving justice matters." Those letters kept me going, reminded me why I'd made this choice. But they didn't pay my parents' rent, didn't repair my relationship with my siblings, didn't undo the damage. Some days, truth is a heavy burden. Some days, doing right feels like doing wrong, but you live with it. You carry it, because the alternative is living a lie, and I couldn't do that. 2 years after I found the diary, something unexpected happened. A lawyer called, Miss Thompson. I represent the estate of William Harrison. He was the grandson of John Harrison, the man who committed the murders. Okay, William died last month. He left instructions in his will. He'd known about the murders his whole life. His grandfather confessed on his deathbed. William couldn't bring himself to come forward. Too ashamed, too cowardly. But he left something. His entire estate, $20 million, to be split between the victim families and your family. I sat down, stunned. Why would he do that? Guilt. He wrote that your grandmother's diary gave him courage. If she could confess, he could too, even if posthumously. He wanted to right the wrong, as much as possible. The money was divided. Victim families received compensation. Real compensation. Enough to change lives. Mrs. Garcia used hers to start a scholarship fund for children of migrant workers, named after her father. My family received $3 million, enough to buy a small farm. Start over. Not the same, but something. When I told my parents, Dad cried. I never thought we'd farm again. Thought that life was over. We'll be smaller, but we'll be honest. We'll farm on truth, not lies. Daniel and Rachel were conflicted. They took the money, but they still hadn't forgiven me. You got lucky, Rachel said. Someone else felt guilty and gave us money, but you still destroyed our legacy. That can't be undone. Maybe she was right. Our legacy was destroyed, but maybe it deserved to be. Maybe we needed to start fresh, build something new, something clean, not founded on murder and silence, but on truth and justice, even if it cost everything. 5 years after finding the diary, my family gathered for Thanksgiving, first time in years. The anger had softened. Time does that. Daniel and I were speaking again. Rachel was cordial, not warm, but not hostile. We ate at Mom and Dad's small house, not the farmhouse. That belonged to someone else now. During dinner, Dad raised his glass. I want to say something. 5 years ago, Catherine made a choice that cost us everything we had. I was angry. We all were. But I've had time to think, time to reflect, and I'm proud of her. Rachel looked uncomfortable. Daniel stared at his plate. Dad continued. We built our life on a lie, on murder, on silence. Catherine could have kept that going, could have let sleeping dogs lie, but she didn't. She chose truth over comfort, justice over wealth. That took courage, that took character, and I'm proud to be her father. Mom squeezed my hand, tears in her eyes. We raised you to do the right thing, even when it's hard. You did that. You did what Grandma couldn't. You freed us from that lie. Daniel spoke. I'm still angry. I'll probably always be angry. We lost everything, but I understand why you did it. And maybe if I'd found the diary, I would have done the same. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't hate you anymore. Rachel said nothing. But she didn't leave. That was progress. After dinner, I walked the small property. 50 acres. Nothing like the old farm, but it was ours. Honest. Clean. I thought about Grandma. Wondered if she'd be proud, or angry, or both. She'd carried that guilt for 50 years. Let it eat at her. Left the diary as a confession, a cry for help, a plea for someone to do what she couldn't. I did it, and it cost me, but I'd do it again. Today I'm 50. My daughter is 25. She asks me about the diary, about the choice I made. Mom, do you regret it? Telling the truth? Losing everything? Some days, yes. Some days I wonder if silence would have been kinder. To everyone. But you did the right thing. The right thing isn't always the kind thing. Sometimes they're opposites. I chose right over kind, and people suffered for it. My family suffered. That's hard to live with. But the victims' families got justice. They did, and that matters. But it doesn't erase the harm I caused. Both things are true. I helped some people, hurt others. That's the complexity of moral choices. They're rarely clean. I've thought about this a lot, about right and wrong, about truth and consequences. There's no simple answer. Grandma made a choice in 1963. Stay silent, take the land, build a life. She wasn't evil, just human, afraid, trying to survive. I made a different choice. Speak up, lose everything, seek justice. I wasn't brave, just unable to live with the lie. Both choices had costs. Both choices hurt people. The question isn't which choice was right. The question is which choice you can live with. Which choice lets you sleep at night? For Grandma, silence was that choice. For 50 years, she carried the guilt, let it haunt her, left a diary hoping someone would finish what she started. For me, truth was the choice, even though it cost my family everything, even though it damaged relationships, even though some days I wonder if I made a terrible mistake. I chose truth, and I live with that. The diary sits in my safe now, a reminder of secrets, of choices, of consequences. My daughter will inherit it someday, along with this story, and maybe she'll understand that doing right isn't about perfection. It's about making the hard choice, the choice that costs you something, and living with it. That's what Grandma taught me, not through her silence, but through her confession. She gave me the courage to tell the truth, even when it hurt, even when it cost everything. And for that, I'm grateful. Thank you, Grandma, for your diary, for your guilt, for your courage to confess, even posthumously. You changed my family forever, not by what you did, but by what you finally said.